Welcome back to another deep dive. If you were glued to the NBA scoreboard on Tuesday night, you probably woke up today feeling a little bit like you were in a fever dream.
Oh, yeah, completely.
I mean, we had massive blowouts, we had emotional returns, buzzer beater confusion, and shorthanded teams pulling off absolute miracles. It was just one of those nights where you look at the screen and go, wait, did that actually happen?
It was definitely one of those nights where the box score doesn't even begin to tell the full story.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the numbers and they lie to you a little bit. At least they hide the real drama.
They really do. And that is exactly our mission today. We want to catch you up on the shifting power dynamics of the league without just reading you a list of stats.
Right.
We are digging into the Cavaliers making a massive statement in the East, the Thunder proving that their system is bulletproof even when half the roster is missing, and some really bizarre drama in Los Angeles involving Luka Dončić.
Plus, we have to unpack the tale of two Hawks, or, well, former Hawks, with Trae Young's emotional return to Atlanta and Jonathan Kuminga's electric debut.
And don't forget, DeJounte Murray returning for the Pelicans. It is a packed agenda. So let's get right into it. We have to start with the big head-to-head in the East. Cavaliers versus Knicks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the Knicks got absolutely smoked, 109-94. But honestly, just watching the game, the score made it look closer than it actually felt.
It wasn't close.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is that the headline with Cleveland is usually their offense. You think of Donovan Mitchell, the spacing, the shooting. But this was a defensive masterclass.
Yeah.
If you look at the tape, the Cavaliers completely neutralized New York's high-powered offense, and it all started with a very specific assignment on Jalen Brunson.
Right, because Brunson struggled mightily. I saw he was 6 of 19 from the field. That is not the efficiency we are used to seeing from him. Was he just missing shots he usually makes, or was it the coverage?
It was definitely the coverage, and specifically it was Dean Wade. The Cavs made a deliberate decision to put length on Brunson. Wade was the primary defender for most of the night, and he was suffocating.
Really?
Yeah. He's 6'9", mobile, and he just swallowed up this space. Brunson relies on those crafty pivots, the footwork in the paint, getting into the body of the defender. But every time he turned, there was just a wall of Dean Wade.
Wow.
He finished with 20 points, sure, but he had to work incredibly hard for every single one of them. He couldn't get to his spots, couldn't get that rhythm going.
It's amazing how length can just disrupt a rhythm player like that. But here is where it gets really interesting for me. I'm looking at the box score for Karl-Anthony Towns, and I see something that looks like a typo.
The perfect shooting.
Yes. KT goes 5 for 5 from the field. Perfect shooting. You'd think, oh, he had a great game. But he only took 5 shots. In a game they were losing by double digits. How does a superstar center only take 5 shots in 35 minutes?
That right there is the KT paradox. And it is the brilliance of the Cavs' defensive scheme. It wasn't that KT was passive. It was that the Cavs basically deleted him from the game.
Deleted him? That sounds drastic.
Completely denied him the ball. The Cavs' front court, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, were aggressively fronting him in the post.
For listeners who might not know, explain fronting in this context.
So usually a defender stands behind the offensive player to stop them from backing down toward the basket. Fronting means the defender stands between the player and the ball handler.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's risky because if the passer lobs it over your head, it's an easy dunk. But Mobley is so long and athletic that he could front KT, deny the entry pass, and still recover if he had to. The Knicks just could not get the ball into Towns' hands.
That is wild.
It's rare to see a superstar rendered that irrelevant, not because he's playing poorly, but because the defense just removes him from the calculus.
They essentially dared the other Knicks to beat them, and they couldn't. And speaking of statistical oddities, we have to talk about James Harden. This one blew my mind.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Harden played over 30 minutes, scored 20 points, hit 4 threes, and didn't attempt a single free throw.
Which, for James Harden, is like seeing a unicorn in the wild.
Mm.
Or finding a parking spot in Manhattan on a Friday night. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, his entire career, his Hall of Fame resume is built on getting to the line. The step back, the arm hook, the drive. Is this a sign of the officiating changing or just how he's fitting into this Cavs system?
I think it's a bit of both, but mostly it shows how his role has shifted under Kenny Atkinson in Cleveland. He's facilitating more, he's taking more catch-and-shoot threes rather than those isolation dribble dances where he pounds the rock for 15 seconds.
Right, he isn't hunting for fouls as much.
Exactly. He isn't driving headfirst into traffic looking for contact every possession. But it is jarring to see. Usually you bank on Harden getting 8 to 10 free points a night. The fact that the Cavs dominated this game without that cushion shows just how dangerous they are as a collective unit. They don't need the whistle to win.
And they did it with a shortened rotation, right? It felt like Atkinson was really tightening the screws.
He did. Coach Atkinson tightened things up to a 9-man rotation.
Yeah.
It feels like the experimentation phase of the season is over, but we did see the rookie, Jalen Tyson, really step up.
I noticed him. He seemed to be everywhere.
He played 27 minutes off the bench, dropped 12 points, and brought this incredible energy. It's huge for Cleveland to have a rookie who can stay on the floor in a playoff intensity game like this against the Knicks.
So it's a sign they're locking in.
It seems like Atkinson is signaling that they found their 9 guys, and they are gearing up for a playoff push. They aren't messing around anymore.
So if you were looking at the hierarchy of the East right now, what does this win tell us?
It tells us the Cavs are the team to beat. When they defend like this, shutting down a creator like Brunson, erasing a scorer like KT, they are a nightmare. They have best defense in the league potential combined with that offensive firepower. They look scary.
All right, let's fly over to the West Coast, because while the Cavs were celebrating a masterclass, the Lakers were, well, imploding feels like a strong word, but it wasn't pretty. They lose to the Magic 110 to 109. But the story isn't the loss, it's how it ended.
This raises some really uncomfortable questions about Luka Dončić and where his head is at right now.
Yeah, let's talk about that frozen moment. Set the scene for us. Down by 1, about 5.5 seconds left. The Lakers draw up a play. Luka gets the ball. He has a clean look at a long three, a shot we have seen him hit 1,000 times. He's the Luka Magic guy. He lives for this. And then
he broke. There's really no other way to describe it.
Yeah,
he hesitated.
He hesitated, like he thought about passing instead.
He caught the ball, looked at the rim, pump faked when no one was really flying at him, and just held it. The clock is ticking down, 5, 4, 3. The defense collapsed on him because he didn't shoot. And then in an absolute panic, he passes the ball to LeBron James on the wing with basically 0 time left on the clock.
The sources I was reading called it dropping a grenade in LeBron's lap.
That is the perfect description. A grenade in basketball terms is when you give a teammate the ball with 1 second left and say, here, you deal with it. LeBron had to heave up a high difficulty, contested shot, and missed.
You can't really blame LeBron for that miss.
Not at all. The blame isn't on LeBron there. It was shocking to see Luka, who is usually the coldest killer in the clutch, just doubt himself.
That hesitation is so un-Luka. Was it just that one play, or was he struggling all night? Because sometimes you see a guy have a bad game and get in his own head.
It was the whole game. He had 22 points, but he shot 8 of 24 and was 2 of 10 from 3. He just looked out of sync. And honestly, the whole team did. This brings us back to the big question surrounding the Lakers all season.
The big 3.
Exactly. We keep hearing about this big 3, Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. But are they actually playing together? The analysis from this game suggests they were playing like they were on 3 separate islands.
Explain that concept for us. What does 3 separate islands look like on the court?
It means there is no connectivity. It's a game of your turn, my turn. Luka dribbles for 14 seconds while LeBron stands in the corner with his hands on his knees. Then LeBron brings it up, and Luka stands at half court. Reeves is trying to cut, but no one is looking for him.
That sounds incredibly easy to guard.
It is. The offense gets stagnant, especially in the fourth quarter. Against a disciplined young team like the Magic, that isolation basketball is simple to defend. You just load up on the guy with the ball because you know he isn't passing until he absolutely has to.
And we should definitely give credit to the Magic here. We are focusing a lot on the Lakers' failure, but Paolo Banchero was a monster.
He was the best player on the floor, hands down. Even without Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, 2 of their key starters, the Magic dominated the paint. They just outworked the Lakers. They had 13 offensive rebounds.
That is purely an effort stat.
100%.
Yeah.
Offensive rebounds are about 1-2. The Magic, despite being younger and less experienced, wanted it more. So the Lakers have all the star power, but the Magic had the cohesion. It's a classic case of talent versus team.
That is a scary thought for Lakers fans. Having 3 superstars doesn't matter if they don't know how to play off each other in the final 5 seconds.
Precisely. If Luka doesn't trust the shot and doesn't trust the pass until it's too late, the spacing doesn't matter.
Speaking of teams figuring it out, let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Because if the Lakers are an example of stars struggling to mesh, the Thunder are the example of a system that just works no matter who is on the floor.
This was arguably the most impressive win of the night. They beat the Raptors in Toronto, which is never an easy place to play. But look at the injury report. No Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No J-Dub. No A.J. Mitchell.
That is basically their entire offensive engine. That's 60, 70 points of offense sitting on the bench in street clothes. So who steps up? How do they generate points?
The next man up philosophy is a cliche in sports, but in OKC it's a reality because everyone plays the exact same style. Cason Wallace took over that number one option role. He scored 27 points, which is his sixth career 20-point game. But it wasn't just the scoring. It was how he scored. He was aggressive, getting to the rim. He was 4 of 5 from 3. He didn't try to be shy. He just played his own game within the system.
And he wasn't alone. Isaiah Joe had a weird night that turned into a spectacular one.
A massive moment. Listen to this split. Isaiah Joe went scoreless in the first half. 0 points. Couldn't buy a bucket. And then in the third quarter, he erupts for 19 points. Just completely flipped the momentum of the game.
That is the definition of a shooter's memory. You just forget the first half ever happened. But it almost went wrong. I saw they blew a 25-point lead.
They did. It got scary. The Raptors fought back and actually tied it up in the clutch. And this is usually where a young team without its stars folds. You expect them to panic. But this is what separates good teams from great organizations.
How did they respond?
Despite the collapse, despite not having their closers, they executed a 15-6 run in the final minutes to survive.
And Alex Caruso was the stabilizer there, right?
He was the adult in the room. He was a plus 27 for the game.
Plus 27 in a 4-point win. That is an insane level of impact.
It's ridiculous. He didn't score 30 points, but his impact on defense, getting deflections, organizing the offense, and keeping the team calm was the difference. It just proves that OKC's system is robust. They can plug guys in and still execute winning basketball because they draft intelligent players who make quick decisions.
It's impressive. Okay, moving on to a game that had storylines colliding everywhere. The Hawks obliterated the Wizards 119-98. But we have a tale of two players here. Jonathan Kuminga making his debut for the Hawks, and Trae Young returning to Atlanta, but as a Wizard.
Let's start with Kuminga, because this was a debut to remember.
27 points. That is a heck of a first impression.
27 points, highly efficient, shooting 6 of 8 on 2-pointers, 3 of 4 from 3. But honestly, more than the stats, it was the vibe. The sources kept using the word joy. He looked liberated.
Liberated from what? The Golden State system.
In a way, yes. In Golden State, he was often caught between positions. Is he a small forward? Is he a power forward? The spacing was tight. Here, he played exclusively at the power forward position, and it just clicked.
He looked comfortable.
Very. He brought this electric energy that Atlanta has been missing. He was running the floor, attacking mismatches, and just playing free. You could actually see the smile on his face.
That is great for the Hawks. But here is the stat that blew my mind from this game. I had to double check this. The Hawks won by 21 points, but they shot terribly. 39% from the field and 24% from 3. How do you blow a team out shooting 24% from deep? Usually that guarantees a loss.
You dominate the margins. This is a lesson in basketball physics or maybe just pure math. The Hawks had 27 more shooting possessions than the Wizards.
27? That is an entire extra quarter of basketball.
It really is. Think about it. If I get to shoot the ball 27 more times than you, I can miss a lot and still comfortably beat you. And they got those extra possessions 2 ways. First, they grabbed 19 offensive rebounds. They just bullied the Wizards on the glass.
And the Wizards.
The Wizards had 2 offensive rebounds in the entire game.
Wait, 2 offensive rebounds in 48 minutes? That seems statistically impossible. The ball bounces weird sometimes. You should get more than 2 just by accident.
It's embarrassing. It shows a complete lack of effort or structure on the glass. And on top of that, the Wizards committed 20 turnovers. They turned the ball over on their first 5 possessions of the game.
So before the fans had even settled in their seats, the Wizards had given the ball away 5 times.
Exactly. So even though the Hawks couldn't throw a rock in the ocean, they just had so many more opportunities to score that the shooting percentages didn't even matter. Volume beats efficiency if the volume gap is that wide.
That is a rough night for Washington. And it had to be bittersweet for Trae Young. He didn't play due to injury, but he was in the building.
Yeah, he got a tribute video, and by all accounts, it was very emotional. He talked about his love for the city despite the trade. It was a nice moment.
But then he had to watch the game.
Right. Watching his new team get completely outworked on the glass and turn the ball over 20 times, that has to be tough for him to watch from the bench. It puts into perspective just how deep the rebuild is going to be in Washington.
Definitely. It feels like Atlanta has turned the page with Kuminga looking forward, while Washington is still very much stuck in the mud.
Absolutely. The directions of the two franchises felt very clear last night.
All right, last game on the docket. The Pelicans beat the Warriors 113-109. It was described as ugly and sloppy, but a win is a win. And the major headline here is the return of DeJounte Murray.
Finally. After missing over a year of action, DeJounte is back. And the Pelicans made a statement with this. It wasn't a let's ease him in off the bench for 15 minutes kind of situation. He was a surprise starter, introduced last for the big ovation.
And he didn't look too rusty.
A little, maybe, which is expected, but he played 25 minutes, scored 13 points, and most importantly, he hit clutch free throws down the stretch. But what really stood out to me was the tactical shift the Pelicans made to accommodate him.
What changed defensively?
With Murray and DeAndre Jordan starting, the Pelicans shifted their defensive scheme. Instead of switching everything, where guards switch onto bigs and vice versa, which often causes confusion, they played drop coverage.
Break down drop coverage for us quickly.
So when the opponent sets a screen, the big man, DeAndre Jordan, drops back toward the paint to protect the rim, while the guard, Murray, fights over the screen to chase the ball handler.
So it forces them into tougher shots.
It invites the mid-range shot, but fiercely protects the rim. It really seemed to stabilize their defense. It gave them a structure they've been lacking when they try to switch everything and guys end up getting lost.
And it wasn't just Murray getting it done. The Pelicans got some huge contributions from their unsung heroes.
Bryce McGowan's, for one. He played the entire fourth quarter. He was essentially doing a Jose Alvarado impression, just pure hustle, defense, getting under people's skin. And then Saddiq Bey dropped 8 points in the fourth, including a massive and one play to ice the game.
It's interesting, though, because to make room for Murray and these veterans, the rookie Derek Queen got moved to the bench.
And that signals a major shift in philosophy for New Orleans. The Pelicans are prioritizing winning right now over development. Moving a high-profile rookie to the bench to accommodate a returning star says, we're trying to make the playoffs, not just develop for 3 years from now.
It's a gamble, but when you have a talent like Murray, you have to play him. So, to recap the night, the Cavs proved defense wins championships, or at least blowout wins against the Knicks. Luka had a baffling mental error that cost the Lakers. OKC proved their depth is terrifying. Kuminga brought the joy back to Atlanta. And DeJounte Murray stabilized the Pelicans.
It was definitely a night defined by defensive statements and sheer roster depth.
And baffling mental errors. I really still can't get over that Luka pass to LeBron.
It sticks with you. And that actually leads me to a final thought for you to chew on. We saw Jonathan Kuminga in Atlanta, looking completely liberated, playing with joy because he fits the role and the energy of the team. Contrast that with the Lakers. You have 3 of the most talented players in the world, Luka, LeBron, Reeves, and they look like they are trapped in mud.
It's the islands problem we talked about.
But it really highlights that talent just isn't enough without cohesion. You can stack superstars all you want, but if they're playing on 3 separate islands, a team with good chemistry and a clear system like OKC or even this new-look Hawks team is going to outwork you. Chemistry isn't just a buzzword. It's the difference between a hesitation and a bucket.
That is a great point. Sometimes the best team isn't just the one with the highest 2K ratings. Well, that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. Please comment, like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify, please leave 5-star review. It will help the channel grow. Until next time, please check our previous episodes.